Hey everybody, it's Tim and Steve at Phantom History House. How are you, Steve?
I am good, and how are you?
I'm doing great. We are going to talk about being on the road, play some clips from some of our fun travels, talk about what we're going to be doing next. It's going to be a fun evening.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to be here.
Welcome to Phantom History House Calls.
Really, welcome.
It's making me remove Instagram.
Yeah, it's not working.
Sorry, everybody. That was not awkward in the least. So I guess we're still live. Are we still live?
We're still live.
Welcome to Phantom History House Calls. All right, so this is going to be interesting. Should I go get something to plug it in?
Maybe so.
Oh wow. Okay, everybody. Sorry about the few technical glitchy things going on here tonight.
That's all right. We are still here. We plan to be here every Wednesday night. We have some great guests that are coming in the upcoming weeks. But tonight we thought we would do something a little bit different and kind of give you a glimpse of what we're hoping to do on our next step of our spooky journey.
Right. So we are having a great time with the guests that are coming. A lot of people are coming to see us here in the last few weeks, and we're excited about the big Ghost Stories by the Fire event that's going to be happening on March 2nd.
Yes.
If you haven't bought your tickets, everybody, it's been sold out for a while, so sorry to disappoint you there, but that's going to be a really fun event.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have a ton of people out front. We're going to have our final event here at Phantom History House, telling some of my favorite ghost stories, and of course, encouraging those who are watching or who are attending to share their ghost stories as well. There'll be drinks and sweet treats and s'mores and all the stuff that we always love to do at those events.
Absolutely. So we're looking forward to that a lot. And I'm going to step up here and plug in the computer because obviously we're having a little bit of a technical thing.
Yeah, it's been a weird day. But like I said, we are going to continue to be here on Wednesday nights, and we are going to show some clips tonight of some of our adventures that we had prior to opening the B&B and what we did like kind of at the beginning of our B&B experience. Of course, with the big shift coming now of us shutting down the B&B and shifting gears, we do plan to do a lot of traveling, and we want to do a lot of reporting from the road because there are so many cool places that I have visited and that I have wanted to talk to, and the people I wanted to talk to and see for myself. And we just lost our camera. But that's okay. We're still here, and we'll be back in a second.
Oh my God, I don't know where this goes.
It goes in the small one. There you go. All right. And as usual, of course, if you are watching, please drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from. And you can ask us any questions as well.
And so we'll be right back with this, everybody. Sorry for our technical issues tonight. This is not the most stellar start that we've ever had to one of these. But boy, the camera sure came right on the first time we used it a minute ago. So thanks for hanging in there with us. If you happen to be watching, let us know where you're watching from and say hi. And sorry, everybody, for the technical glitch. Okay, so it says it's on, but it didn't. It says it should be going. So, all right. Let's see. It says that it's on.
They just need to use your screen camera.
But it says that it's on. So, okay. Sorry, everybody. This is just fantastic live TV going on right now. It has selected it, Steve. So none of them are coming on. So there, it's on. It's selected it. Sorry, everybody. If you're watching, thanks for bearing with us. Can we? We'd have to reschedule. All right. Sorry, everybody. If you are watching, we are having all kinds of technical issues tonight, and I apologize. We will be right back here in just a couple minutes. So just stay right where you are, and we will be right back shortly.
Hey, here we are.
Are we?
We are back. Hello, Joe.
All right.
Thanks for
Should
tuning
we just
in
like
and watching.
start over?
I think we should.
All right. So if you're watching, thanks for bearing with us. Hi, Joe. All right. So we're going to start over. All right. Are you game for that?
I'm game for that. I think that.
All right. So, hey, everybody. It's Tim and Steve at Phantom History House. How are you, Steve?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to Phantom History House Calls. All right, tonight we're going to be talking about Phantom History on the road, show some clips from places that we have been, talk about where we're going to be going. It's a busy time here for us right now.
It is a busy time here for us. We are in the process of shifting gears by welcoming our final guests here at the Bed and Breakfast before we kind of shift what we're going to do and go out and about and do some traveling.
Right, so we're looking forward to seeing all the people that are going to be staying here over the last couple weekends, really.
Yeah.
And then we're having a big final ghost story event here on March 2nd to sort of celebrate everything. And then we're going to be shifting gears, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes.
We have some clips from places that we have been to give you an idea of what's going to be coming next.
Yes. And hello, Lynn. Thank you for tuning in from Fort Myers.
Cool.
We have met so many amazing people while we've done this for the past 2 years. And prior to this, doing the podcast, I met some really incredible people. So this is going to give us a chance to kind of go see some of these places in person as our plan.
Right. And so we've so appreciated all the people that we've gotten to know, friends that we have made, if they were guests or colleagues or psychic mediums or colleagues around town, or it's all the different people that have supported what we've been doing and been really our cheerleaders this whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. And this past weekend, we had a great time. We had some guests come and visit us who had been here several times, and we went with them to Sir Henry's Haunted Trail, Love's Revenge.
Never disappoints. Never disappoints. We had such a good time at Sir Henry's. I mean, I just think it's really healthy. I mean, I do have this theory, everybody, that it's really good to sort of scream and get it all out. I call it water slide therapy, park therapy, or roller coaster therapy. Same kind of thing. It's a socially acceptable way to just sort of scream. You get on there. Nobody thinks anything of it if you're just sort of getting it all out. And I feel like that's the great thing about these kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get a good laugh afterwards, which is always a blast. And,
or I'm kind of laughing and screaming. Actually, it's kind of my thing. It's sort of like I laugh and then I scream, and then I'm walking along, then I'm screaming, then I'm laughing. So it's really, really fun.
And we got to share this with some friends of ours, which, like you said, had never been before. And watching them was a blast.
Yes, that was really, really
Andrea
interesting.
and Michael, thank you so much for
going with that us. Was awesome. And I loved how Mike sort of talked his way through the whole thing. Like this was his way of calming himself down as we were going through. It was so funny. Okay, now there's a zombie girl coming at us. And oh, yes, what did you want me to do, you zombie girl? And it was really, really fun.
Everybody has their own technique in order to get through those things. And hey, Kristen, thank you for tuning in. Wonderful to see you as always.
It was really, really fun. So everybody, if you're watching, make sure you put Sir Henry's on your calendar for of course, the Halloween time. They also do a holiday one around Christmas time, and then they just did the Valentine's one. So super fun.
And rumor has it they're going to have something special before Halloween, based on their website and their Facebook.
Really?
So they may have another one coming up soon. So check them out.
Oh, okay. Well, stay tuned, everybody. Go to Sir Henry's Facebook and other places and just keep abreast. So what are we doing tonight? We are giving you a taste of what's coming next for us, because we are going to take this show on the road even more than we've been able to.
Yes, and that is also, we want to add that this show on Wednesday nights is still going to be
we're going to be here.
Constant. We have some great guests lined up in the future, as well to accompany the podcast in its future episodes as I put those together too.
Yeah, and some cool stuff about investigation. So there's a lot watching coming up. Still, if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter so that you know about all the stuff that's going to be going on, podcasts are going to be coming out and live things. But we are going to be traveling. We're excited about this.
Yeah.
We're going to be traveling and going to places. All the times when you do these podcasts, every time you hang up from one, you're like, I would love to go there and see this place and meet these people in person. So now we can do that.
And not only that, I mean, even pre the house and during the pandemic, we spent a lot of time on the road looking for these off the beaten path locations that have a weird history to them that we would discover here in Florida on our drives up to Atlanta to visit family. I mean, we just would find these interesting places, and I'm excited to be able to do that even more.
So let's show an example of one. Whenever we do that, everybody, we'll have videos, we'll have live events, we'll have videos that we'll share later. We'll let you know where we're going to be so that you can sort of tune in. So what's an example of one that you wanted to mention?
Well, I think, one of our favorite places is New Orleans. And one of my favorite places in New Orleans is Lafitte's blacksmith shop. And we were there a couple of years ago and did a lot of video recording.
Had
and
such a good time. I can't wait to go back to New Orleans.
Same here. And there's so much information to look up and so much to share. You just really don't run out. So what we're going to try to do is do these short snippets of little weird haunted history things.
And if you've been to New Orleans, type in your favorite place in New Orleans to visit, spooky or not. Here is a clip from you at Lafitte's. No, I was there filming, but this is him.
Yeah, my cameraman.
I said Lafitte's, but it's Lafitte's.
Lafitte's. Yeah.
Okay.
One of my favorite locations in Bourbon Street here in the French Quarter is the Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop, which is right behind me. It is the oldest standing structure in the quarter that is actually used for a bar. The building was built in the, I believe, 1720s, somewhere between 1722 and 1732. And you can imagine that a lot of the pirates of the era would come to this location, have a pint, talk about what they did on the high seas before they went back out into the Gulf of Mexico. It's tied to Jean Lafitte, who is, his name is on everything here in New Orleans, and it's believed that he and his crew were the ones that would hang out here and enjoy those pints. It's also believed, at least the legend says, that he has some treasure that is buried here beneath the bar and in the furnace area. And it's also believed that if you go down and try to take a look at it, you will see glowing red eyes looking back at you. It's also believed that there is a spirit of a pirate who is still in this location, who is watching guard over the entire building and over that treasure. I love that place.
Yeah, it's so cool, and just just being in a place that has so much history that's been there so long is always really inspiring. Whether that's here in New Orleans or in Europe or wherever you might be.
Yeah, and what's really cool about Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop is, like I said in that video, it's like the oldest building that is in the French Quarter, and inside there's either little electricity or no electricity because they keep it lit by candlelight. So it's kind of adds to that. I mean, I'm sure there's electricity because they have, drinks and coolers and all that kind of stuff going on.
But the vibe and the ambiance.
The vibe is set like, the 1700s, which is really cool. And it's a great place to grab a drink.
Yeah. And we did.
And we did. And that's also where we met a friend of ours, Michael, who is a tour guide in New Orleans. It was actually right after that video or right before that we met him. And he actually did an episode of Phantom History with me.
He did, and he also was the reason we ended up in this creepy apartment.
We did.
Are we going right to that, or do you want to save it for later?
We can, but let me set it up. It takes a lot to scare me, and I'm always interested in seeing and learning more about this stuff. So we're a little bit different there. But Michael, after I introduced myself, he was in the middle of a tour. He said, I can't talk right now, but what are you doing tomorrow at like noon? So, and I've shared this story, during Ghost Stories by the Fire. And I said, nothing, we're just on vacation. So we met him the next day at Bloody Mary's Haunted Museum, which sounds charming and fun. And I was all about going in there, which we did. And we looked around, and then he invited us to go tour a apartment on the second floor. But he didn't give us any context. He just said,
that should have been a clue.
He said, go up there and look around and then come back down and I'll tell you what the story is. So I actually did a selfie video while we were up there. And the first thing we noticed were a whole lot of dolls.
Yes. Look for the dolls, everybody.
It's my last day in New Orleans, and I have found myself in Bloody Mary's Haunted Museum. And I am in the haunted attic apartment, which has a doll room. The tour guide we met led us up here to take a look around and said we could take some photos and communicate with whatever's in this apartment and try to catch some orbs or something on our cameras. So far I haven't seen anything, but you can see this is the doll room in here. And in here we have, I guess, a living space of some kind. And then if you come with me this way, you can see what used to be a kitchen. And there are actually donations to spirits in different ways, which are then actually given to charity according to these signs. Definitely an interesting way to end the visit to New Orleans. Your favorite part of the whole trip, wasn't it?
That was memorable.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, especially what we found out later when we.
Yeah, and you were there with me. You were just kind of avoiding the shot while I was walking through.
I was.
But you were up there with me.
Sort of in a corner whimpering. No, but it was still, the vibe up there was like uncomfortable.
It was very dark, and
Yeah,
we found out
it was-
later that, like the note said, it was the site of a murder suicide. And kind of a gross situation, with where things were found, but all of those donations that were left there do go to charity, and a lot of people go by there to kind of pay their respects to this couple that was well known in New Orleans and then had a tragic end.
And in case any of you are concerned for me, we have an agreement that whenever we are going to make all these travels that we're planning, there's going to be some spooky stuff, which I enjoy the history and a little bit of that. And then we're also going to do some things that I would like to do in addition on the trip. So it's not going to be like me being dragged into scary apartment after scary apartment. That is certainly
there'll be a house and then a condo and then a townhome.
Yeah. But we are really looking forward to this, and you will be able to follow along, of course, because we're going to be keep doing these Wednesday shows, and we're also going to be putting out, of course, like we always do, podcast episodes, social media stuff about where we're going. You can follow along. There'll be some live events. We're really looking forward to all of that.
Yeah.
We have suggestions. We have some examples tonight of places that we've been that we thought were really fun that we want to share. Some. If you're watching, say hi. Let us know where you're watching from and where you think we ought to go on our travels.
We're always looking for suggestions and ideas. Of course, we have our master list. We want to go back to New Orleans. Savannah was great. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We did a ghost tour in New York. We want to go visit our friend in Oregon, in Washington State. So there's so many places we still want to go, and we want to go international. But what I love about all these places is that if you sit down and you find the right resources, you can find a whole lot about the history and a whole lot about the hauntings if you know where to look. And you'll notice whenever we tell these stories in these locations, a lot of it is not presented as factual because, who knows what people experience. It's, legend says or people have experienced. If we were to experience something ourselves, of course, we would share it. But it hasn't happened yet on one of these journeys. Yet.
So let's talk about another one of the places we've been.
Sure.
I loved the trip to the Ringling Museum and the Cadazan, the beautiful mansion on the water down in Sarasota. That was a really great experience, that trip.
It was. I mean, and again, it goes about, there's stuff in your own backyard. It's an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half from us.
If you haven't been down there, everybody, it is fantastic because there's a circus museum, there's an art museum, of course, the beautiful mansion. There's all kinds of stuff from the Ringlings where the circus was housed there. And
we went down there last January, and spent all day and did some videos, and of course found the graves, which I always do. So check it out. Hey everybody, we are in Sarasota, Florida at Cadazan, which is the former home of John and Mabel Ringling of the Ringling Circus. And it is said that this building is extremely haunted, especially by Mabel, who lived and died here and also built some amazing gardens around here as well. We're going to take a tour of the inside of the house in a little bit, but in true Phantom History tradition, we did find their graves as well. Both John and Mabel and John's sister, Ida, are all buried right here in the secret garden where we're standing. Follow me and I'll show you their graves. John Ringling died in 1836. His sister died in 1950. And his wife, Mabel, died in 1929. They all were not originally interred here. You can see at the bottom of their gravestones, it said that they were interred here in June of 1991. So their bodies were actually exhumed and then replaced here where Cadazan is located, which could be in part why they decided to haunt the building. So your video has improved since then, and we have gotten better microphones since then.
Yes, so everybody, our quality is going to be going up. But that was a super fun day. We did the tour of the mansion, which was really cool. We did the one where we got to go upstairs and see the apartment. I really enjoyed that. So if you haven't been to Cadazan and seen the Ringling Mansion down in Sarasota, that is worth a trip.
Yeah, and we didn't take like a haunted tour. It was just a historic tour of it. And I don't think they really do haunted tours that much anymore. It's all about the history and the Ringlings' impact on the area.
Yeah, it was a really fun day. And of course, the art museum is wonderful. There's some gigantic pieces that are very cool. So it was fun. It was a good day.
And we went to the Edgar Allan Poe speakeasy after that.
We did.
That was a fun day.
Kind of one of the other reason for going down there was we had little cocktails and saw, dramatic presentations of some of the stories.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was a fun evening. We dressed up. Not everybody did, but we were dressed up. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, we had our Gothic attire on. It was fantastic. So we're always looking for stuff like that to do too. So to your point, get down to Sarasota, check that place out. Again, it was, I don't know, it wasn't even that expensive to go in and spend the day. So definitely highly recommend it.
It was really great. And of course, I think we also saw the little people garden of garden gnomes or
Yeah.
dwarves or
We took some ridiculous pictures in there.
Sorry, I hope I wasn't impolite.
No, I think
impolitic
they
there.
recognized the dwarves that worked with the circus.
Yeah, the little people. So it was really cool. There's like a little garden of statues of them anyway there on grounds. So we spent a lot of time in cemeteries.
Yes, we do.
We do that a lot, everybody. And I actually think they're really interesting to sort of wander around, see the graves and the years and things. And there's always graves of little infants who've died, and that's so sad. And it's always
I mean, infant mortality was a really big problem, way back before science and medicine. So,
but we did go visit one right here nearby.
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of stumbled upon it. It's like really, literally in the middle of a roundabout and just outside of downtown Clearwater.
Okay, so let's see our visit to this cemetery that many of you could visit.
In the middle of this neighborhood in Clearwater, Florida, and actually in the middle of a roundabout, is the Rousseau Cemetery, which is the oldest family plot in Pinellas County, Florida. And it's named after this gentleman here, William H. Rousseau, who passed away in 1870. He was a member of the militia and also a member of the Confederate Army. And when he passed away, he was the first person to be buried in this area. Not only is it him, but there's also some other very notable names here in Pinellas County, including the Booths, which have many local attractions named after them. And it's said that some of the neighbors here will hear some strange sounds at nights and moaning coming from this cemetery here. Is it practical jokers, or is it the family of Rousseau who are still haunting the grounds? We may never know.
All right, so very interesting. You look huge in that tank top in that shot. Yeah,
I love that tank top.
I think it's the cinematography, everybody. That's what it was.
The
camera angles had it on wide screen for sure.
It adds 10 pounds, as they say. So thank you for that. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, Andrew. Good to see you. If you come this way, Lake County, of course, there are lots of history with spooky stuff in Mount Dora, and the Howey Mansion in Howey in the Hills has some great spooky history too.
Hi,
wow.
Carrie and Lynn and Kristen and Andrea. This is awesome. Thanks everybody for watching.
Hey, Gary. That's awesome to know, because I know that we went to Mount Dora once, but we just went shopping and had
we kind of spent the day.
Yeah,
but then we need to do that.
Yeah,
that would be a great place to go.
Yeah, there's a ton of
stuff.
We
went by. I interrupted you. We went by because we had spent the day at Casadega.
That's right.
And we went by Mount Dora on the way home to have dinner, which was nice. But we didn't really spend a lot of time at Mount Dora, so we need to do that.
Yeah, and Casadega is such a cool place. I don't think we did any videos there. It was just such a peaceful visit to that place.
It didn't seem like the thing to do.
It was a winter day. There was nobody around. We just kind of enjoyed the space, which is really cool. But yeah, what did Lynn say? She said something about haunted history. New Orleans has such haunted history, as you guys know, of course. Absolutely. And
we took a cool ghost tour when we were in New Orleans too. That was really fun.
We did.
And we stopped for beignets in the middle of the tour, which was my favorite part.
Yeah, we took a bus tour that actually went outside of the quarter to an external cemetery, and then halfway we did stop and eat bathroom break and beignets.
And my theory is that just like I think a lot of people, there's the person that's really into the ghosty stuff, and then there's the person that's along.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the beignets were for us. I mean, I enjoyed the cemetery and everything, but I obviously wasn't into it as much as you are. So.
Yeah. But I mean, and it really all depends on your tour guide too. If you get a really good tour guide, which we had a great tour guide, he did a wonderful job. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, off the top of my head. But he was able to talk to you during the bus ride and then during the tour of the cemetery. He had all the history, and we even visited the Katrina Memorial during that night, which had a lot of really interesting facts and legends connected to that as well.
So if you're watching, everybody, say hello. Let us know where you think we should be going to visit. And we are talking about the fact that our next chapter is going to be a lot of travel to these interesting places, some which, of course, obviously have haunted stuff happening.
Yeah.
We'll be doing that, plus other stuff while we're there. So you can follow along, everybody. Sign up for our newsletter. Pay attention to all the socials. Go to our website. All this, it'll all be there.
Well, and I think you make a good point. We want to go to these haunted and historic locations, but not all historic locations are haunted. So I want to put that in there too. There are times that we've gone to locations where we really can't find much about haunted things happening or ghosts or whatever. I just put up a video not too long ago about the Cemetery for All People, which we don't have on our clips tonight, but it's here in Tampa. And I couldn't find anything about hauntings. It's just an empty field in the middle of a cemetery, or in the middle of a neighborhood, which is a cemetery. It was a pauper's field. But I couldn't find anything about anything haunted. However, I went with my best friend, Carla, and while we were there, we heard a little girl's voice say, "Hey." And we both heard it, and we couldn't figure out where it come from, and it freaked her out, and she got back in the car. So I would tease her after that, I think her name was Abigail. We found a headstone that said Abigail. So I'm like, oh, I think Abigail came home with you. So Carla, if you're watching, she's still with you. Yeah.
So we do have, I think, at least one more clip that we wanted to play. We're just showing examples of places we've been and the type of coverage that we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And which one is left?
Well, it looks like we have two left, actually. We can either talk about Egmont Key or the Spanish explorers in the park.
Well, let's start with the Spanish explorers. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah. This is a riverfront park here in Temple Terrace, by near where I used to live. And it's just
beautiful.
This is another example of where we don't know if it's haunted, but it has some really cool history connected to it.
Absolutely.
Hey everybody, Steve here, and I am in River Hills Park, which is suitably named here in Hillsborough County, the city of Temple Terrace actually, because the Hillsborough River is actually right here to my right, and this is a historic park because in the 1750s there were actually Spanish explorers who stopped here to look for pine trees to help repair their boats and also to create their masts. There's a historic marker here as well, and this is the kind of location that I love to just stumble upon. A good friend of mine told me about this park and said I should check it out, and I absolutely love it. So I encourage you to do the same in your community, whether you're in Florida or elsewhere in the country or in the world. Go out your front door, see what's around you, and find that historic location near you. And if there's a spot that you think that I need to check out, please let me know. I would love to check it out for myself, and you can leave a comment, or of course you can shoot me an email.
All right, so that was a beautiful park, and if you're in the Temple Terrace area, you should check that out.
Yeah, it is. And we actually looked at a house not too far from there when we were looking for the B&B. So,
yes.
So yeah, it was a very cool place. We got one more video to share with you before we wrap it for tonight. So for years, I had been wanting to visit Egmont Key, which is just off the coast of St. Petersburg, just south of the Skyway Bridge, which is kind of like an iconic location here in Tampa Bay that if you're watching from local, you know exactly where that is. The only way to get to this island is by boat. I guess you could swim, but there's no roads. You can't drive over there. There's no cars. There's no drones. There's all kinds of rules. And part of it is a bird sanctuary as well that you can't even access. So I had wanted to go forever. I just never had time. So one time last year, I just took the day off work and I went and spent all day there. And it was so cool because it has an abandoned fort. It has an abandoned ghost town. It has the remains of what's left of these old brick roads. And it is insanely haunted based on everything that I read. So of course I had to spend all day there. And I was on that island from 10 until 2. It was fantastic. And I would love to go back. I do know that they got hit by the hurricane. I don't know if they're open up again or not yet, but check out this walk I took through the abandoned ghost town on Egmont Key.
All right.
Fort Dade on Egmont Key protected the waterways. The men who lived on the island needed a place to call home. You'll see that there's a brick street behind me. This is a literal ghost town of what used to be a thoroughfare of different homes and buildings, munitions, cafes, things like that. In April of 1926, however, this entire area was burned down by the authorities because it was believed that there were a lot of bootleggers out here doing illegal activities that prohibition said that you should not do involving alcohol. So all that's left are a few foundations of what used to be a very thriving street here in the middle of Egmont Key. And you can see behind me that most of these are just concrete slabs that have nothing left. And fortunately, the Historic Society here has left some really cool plaques explaining what used to stand in these locations. Now, I don't believe that any of these locations are haunted. The only spirits that I'm aware of here are possible some Native Americans who were imprisoned on this island during the Seminole Indian Wars in the 1830s, and some of them did not make it out alive before they were shipped to the north on their way to Oklahoma. And there's rumors that there's a spirit of a Civil War general that is spotted over near the lighthouse, which is on the northern end of the island. Very eerie knowing that you're walking down what once was a busy street full of people, full of conversation, and now it's just wildlife.
All right, so very interesting So if you are watching, type in where you think we should visit, or let us know. Send us a note, send us an email, whatever.
Send us a message.
Give us ideas for where you think you would like to see us go and travel and see stuff.
Yeah. Tell us where to go, which just funny to say.
Lovely.
But yeah, that's just a sample of kind of the stuff that we're hoping to do as we move forward, as we close this chapter and take our steps into the next one. Again, we want to say thank you to everybody who has come and visited us and enjoyed Phantom History House, and we are excited to welcome the guests that are still on their way, who are going to be coming. And Lynn is saying back in New Jersey, where she lived at one time, she heard the state was known for many haunted towns, places. There was a publication called Weird New Jersey, of course. Of course, New Jersey is a bit far, but we don't mind. We would love to get over there.
Planning to travel. So,
and Sally, how I got over to Egmont Key is there's actually an Egmont ferry that goes out of Fort DeSoto. So if you look for the Egmont Key ferry, you can get their rates. I think it was like $40, I think. And you go over, then they tell you that they'll be back at a certain time, and you have to catch the ferry back. So I think there's 2 that go every day. Or if you have your own boat, you can go that way as well.
Thanks everybody for watching. We're going to be here every Wednesday, at least most Wednesdays when at all possible. So stay tuned to social media and our newsletter so that you can know what's going on.
Yes,
we've loved meeting all of you and appreciate you watching.
Yeah, we have some really cool guests coming up. A woman who loves to take photos of graveyards and tombstones. We have an author who has written about the afterlife and near-death experiences. So we have some really interesting conversations on the horizon. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody for watching, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
See you next time.